negotiations for on the subject of Iran and the negotiations tomorrow. Your own plans in terms of Middle East and Israel. What should we be looking for next? What are you expecting?
Well, I think tomorrow Steve and Jared will be there. I think they're on their way there now, actually. And the president was very clear last night that he always prefers diplomacy. But I want you to understand, and everyone should know, that Iran poses a very great threat to the United States and has for a very long time. They are in possession, first and foremost, after their nuclear program was obliterated, they were told not to try to restart it, and here they are. You can see them always trying to rebuild elements of it. They're not enriching right now, but they're trying to get to the point where they ultimately can. The other thing I would point you to, however, is that Iran possesses a very large number of ballistic missiles, particularly short-range ballistic missiles that threaten the United States and our bases in the region and our partners in the region. And all of our bases in the UAE, in Qatar, in Bahrain. And they also possess naval assets that threaten shipping and try to threaten the U.S. Navy. So I want everybody to understand that beyond just the nuclear program, they possess these conventional weapons that are solely designed to attack America and attack Americans if they so choose to do so. These things have to be addressed. The negotiations tomorrow and the talks tomorrow will be largely focused on the nuclear program. And we hope progress can be made, because that's the president's preference, to make progress on the diplomatic front. But it's also important to remember that Iran refuses to talk about ballistic missiles, to us or to anyone. And that's a big problem.
Mr. Secretary, last night the president said that Iran was working to build missiles that will soon reach the U.S. Can you clarify if the U.S. assessment is Iran is actively seeking that capability?
Oh,
and
yeah, yes.
How far away are they?
Well, I won't speculate as to how far away they are, but they are certainly trying to achieve, and this is not new, they're trying to achieve intercontinental ballistic missiles. For example, you've seen them try to launch the satellites into space. You've seen them increasing the range of the missiles they have now. And clearly they are headed in the pathway to one day being able to develop weapons that can reach the continental U.S. They already possess weapons that can reach much of Europe, already now, as we speak. And the ranges continue to grow every single year exponentially, which is amazing to me. For a country that's facing sanctions, whose economy is in tatters, whose people are suffering, and somehow they still find the money to invest in missiles of greater and greater capacity every year. This is an unsustainable threat.
There was a DIA assessment, I think, that said that if they chose to pursue this, that they would be able to develop these missiles that could reach the U.S. by 2035. Is that still?
Well, I won't comment on assessments or anything the intelligence community says. Suffice it to say that it's a threat. We can see that it's possible. We saw North Korea do it. We've seen other countries do it in the past, and we would, view that as a great threat to the United States. But already now, they possess missiles that threaten American interests. As we speak, they possess thousands of short-range ballistic missiles that can reach U.S. bases located in the region, in Saudi Arabia, in Qatar, in Bahrain, in the United Arab Emirates, throughout the region. It's a threat that exists already.
Is tomorrow the last chance for diplomacy, Mr. Secretary? That do you know reach a deal with Iran is diplomacy off the table?
I don't think diplomacy is ever off the table. The president wants diplomatic solutions. He prefers them. He prefers them greatly. He wants that more than anything else. So I wouldn't characterize tomorrow as anything other than the latest in a set of conversations, and hopefully they're productive. But eventually, we'll have to have conversations about more than just the nuclear program. But if you can't even make progress on the nuclear program, it's going to be hard to make progress on the ballistic missiles as well. So I wouldn't characterize tomorrow as anything other than the next opportunity to talk.
Could you just clarify the president? The president said, Iran just has to say we will never have a nuclear weapon. Is the question really them saying we will never have a weapon, or is it saying we will never enrich? And they say they reserve the right to enrich uranium, but they're not going towards a weapon. So
well, let me put it to you this way. If in fact what you're interested in is a peaceful nuclear program, you can do it like most of the countries in the world do it, which is they have above ground reactors and they import the fuel. We have deals now to do that with countries. If what they really wanted was energy from, they could do small modular reactors, which is something that's quite affordable and achievable for a lot of countries. But when you say we want to enrich, and we want to enrich deep underground, and you have a history in the past of enriching 20 and even 60%, plus you're building missiles that could potentially carry warheads, that doesn't sound to me like someone who's a country that's not interested in building weapons. So it's not just the rhetorical, it's the actions that back the rhetoric, which we simply haven't seen.
you're looking for a commitment to zero.
Well, they don't need to enrich in order to have nuclear energy. They don't need nuclear energy, by the way. They have plenty of natural gas. But if they wanted nuclear energy, they could have it the way other countries have it. The fact that they refuse to get it that way, the fact that they insist not just on enrichment, but on enrichment in locations located inside of mountains is, I think you would have to lack common sense to not know what that means or what that could mean.
Democrats came away from the Group of Eight meeting kind of sounding alarmed by what they heard and saying that you guys need to make more of a case for why the U.S. should go to war with Iran.
Well, I don't comment about Gang of Eight briefings. There were various topics that were discussed. I don't comment on them. That's why we do them in a classified setting. I don't think anyone should leave those meetings talking about anything or even characterizing them. At least that's the way we handled it when I was on the Gang of Eight. Perhaps that's changed. But generally, that said, just outside of the Gang of Eight briefing, yeah, what's happening with Iran is very concerning. It's been very concerning for 40-something years. And it's become increasingly concerning as they've increased their weapon capabilities. So I don't think that's a mystery to anyone that Iran is a deep concern. Multiple administrations have confronted this threat. The threat has simply grown over time in terms of how they've been able to extend the reach of their missiles and their insistence, their blind insistence on being able to enrich in these hidden locations, make you even more uncomfortable. But look, let's see what happens tomorrow. Maybe something good will come of it.
Mr. Sigler, can you confirm a comment on reports that you've spoken with Lil Castro Distress?
I won't comment on any conversations we've had. Suffice it to say that the United States is always prepared to talk to officials from any government that have information to share with us or viewpoints they want to share with the United States, and that's my job to do that. So whether it's someone in Cuba or potentially one day someone in North Korea or right now in Iran, we're always open to listen. That's different from a negotiation, obviously, but we're prepared to listen to viewpoints that other people say. Cuba's a country located 90 miles off the coast of the United States. It has a very severe and catastrophic economic crisis on its hands. And if someone in their system has information to share with us about changes they're open to making or moves they're prepared to accept, we would certainly listen to that. And I would probably do that not in a setting in front of the media because I think it would be more productive that way. But ultimately, actions will be important in something like that.
We can negotiate a new system in Cuba. I mean, are you hopeful that there might be reformists inside of it?
Well, I mean, the status quo is unsustainable. We had a meeting here today with all the leaders of CARICOM, and it was one of the points I raised, and I think virtually everyone in the room agreed that Cuba's status quo is unacceptable. Cuba needs to change. It needs to change. And it doesn't have to change all at once. It doesn't have to change from one day to the next. Everyone is mature and realistic here. We're seeing that process play out, for example, in Venezuela. And many of the countries represented at the CARICOM conference today were themselves countries that went through transitions at some point in their history. But Cuba needs to change. It needs to change dramatically because it is the only chance that it has to improve the quality of life of its people and not lose 15% of its population since 2021. 15% of the people of Cuba have left since 2021. That is not a system that's working. That's a system that's in collapse. And they need to make dramatic reforms. And if they want to make those dramatic reforms that open the space for both economic and eventually political freedom for the people of Cuba, obviously the United States would love to see that. It would be helpful. If they decide they're going to dig in and just continue forward, then I think they're going to continue to experience failure, and the people of the country are going to continue to suffer, and it'll be the regime's fault.
Going back to Iran for a moment, President Trump said that the nuclear sites have been obliterated under Operation Midnight Hammer. What has changed since then? Have you seen movement of material, or what is it?
No, you have. There's been reporting. I don't know if your outlet has, but others have reported on it. I think it's pretty clear that they have not abandoned their desire